You're listening to the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network.
Fabulous.
Live every Sunday with the very latest food, beverage, and travel trends.
Amazing.
Now here's the host of our show, Mr. Randall White.
Good morning, everyone. 8:06 the time on this Sunday morning. If you're watching us online right now, either through our Facebook page or through our homepage, eatdrinkexplore.com, I'm sad to say that I was up late last night putting together a new video open, which I was so proud of and couldn't wait to play.
So excited.
And then forgot to play it. So you didn't see anything fancy.
There's always next time.
Right. We'll do it at the 9 o'clock hour.
Okay.
So
and we'll be ready. We'll be waiting.
I purposely came back downtown last night after getting my hair cut at Anthony's studio on
to finish it up.
To finish it up, and then so that it could air today. At any rate,
best
good morning.
Intentions.
Yeah, the best intentions. What do they pave that path? Straight ahead here on Eat, Drink, Explore Radio. By the way, if this is your first time tuning in, you've arrived at California's #1 place to talk about current trends in food, beverages, travel, and tourism. It's our goal each week, right, Patty? To keep you informed so that you have the tools you need to enjoy life's pleasures in a healthy way, in a sustainable way, and in a community-focused manner as well, if at all possible. So straight ahead this hour, lots of fun things to talk about. And in some cases, we're alerting you to certain trends, not always positive trends. We'll talk about hookah lounges and how they've become popular with younger kids. And it's just another way to hook smokers, really. And
right.
Yeah. So we'll talk about that coming up in just a little bit. Then, the end of the world's this week, right?
That's what I've been told.
Yeah. So
yes. Live it up.
In preparation, we are sharing with you ways to prepare Mayan dishes because you might want to have
cool.
A little Mayan feast on the final day. Which is
since
what,
it's
Thursday?
their calendar and their prediction. Or at least that's what we're told, right?
Exactly.
If we're interpreting what they meant by the calendar, that's
right.
their prediction.
Sorry about that, Ricardo. I just did something crazy if you were on me. I moved the video off the screen because I was trying to look at the date. When's the 21st? A Thursday?
21st is Friday.
It's Friday. Okay, so Friday is, and I say it completely tongue-in-cheek. Nothing, you're going to wake up Saturday and everything's going to be fine, but...
But for fun, the target end day is Friday.
So we thought it'd be fun to share the Mayan region of Mexico and how they produce some of their food specialties. That should be a good time. Then if you read the San Francisco Chronicle or sfgate.com, you've checked out Spud Hilton. He is their travel writer and blogger. He has a really fun Bad Latitude, it's called.
Oh, cool.
Instead of Bad Attitude.
Yes.
A Bad Latitude. He has anything but a bad attitude. He's just fantastic, and he'll join us during our travel segment. Then next hour, tomorrow's National Growler Day.
Oh.
So make sure when you greet people, you go, no, not growler
not
that
way. Kind.
No, it is.
But if you have enough of them, you might go.
That's true. A growler of beer. It's a very eco way to get your beer and to get it fresh from your local brewer. However, here in California, there's a little bit of a twist to it that we want to talk about. And, we did not start National Growler Day. It started a couple of years ago in the Midwest by an organization called the Beer Mapping Project.
Oh.
But they sort of gave up the reins, and there was nothing announcing it this year. I even contacted them and said...
So it's been kind of... it's being neglected.
Right. And I thought, no.
So all you craft beer lovers out there need to pick up the cause.
Exactly. So I thought, you know what? This is not something that needs to be neglected. This is something that... So I'm taking the torch. Eat, Drink, Explore is announcing tomorrow.
Growler Day.
National
Get your growler out.
Day. No one else announced it, so... going to announce it. And then also next hour, boxed wine versus bottled wine.
Oh, yes.
A new study out of UC Davis points to some interesting facts between those two.
We had a department Christmas get-together at the range in Santa Margarita for the Cal Poly Journalism Department.
Yes.
And they waived their corkage fee as a special, thing for us, and people brought wine.
Right.
And I made the joke that, I forgot to bring my wine. I had a box in the fridge. That got a laugh.
Franzia. Right.
Yes.
Boxed wine has progressed. There's a really good one out of the Paso area called La Pistola from Chateau Margin that is
So we're going to
delicious.
hear more about boxed wine.
We are. Exactly. Anthony, our audio guy, just purchased 2 boxes of the Chateau Margine, which we took, Ricardo and I took on an Amtrak to the Midwest.
And that's a convenient way, I have to say, to be able to, handle wine sometimes for certain, traveling or events or things like that. So I shouldn't be laughing at it, but it was a funny joke.
Yeah. Yes, it was. Patty got, and she's getting more mileage out of it now.
Yes.
All right. Wow. We are late in the day here, and it's time to get to Patty's.
Let's get to it.
But we need to play the sounder for it to be official. It's 8:11 now, and time to tune over to Patty Pyburn for the latest news. And before you get going, I just want to say we aren't focused on general news, but we do want to say that our hearts go out to everyone in the Connecticut community where that horrible, horrible mass slaying took place at that elementary school on Friday. We typically are an upbeat show and talk about all things food, wine, travel, and leisure, those sorts of things, but I did want to mention that since this is a news segment off the top.
That's right, and our thoughts are with the people there in Connecticut.
For sure. Now, Patty, what's making news here locally?
Well, from the Eat, Drink, Explore news desk on this Sunday morning, the airline that consistently tops many traveler satisfaction surveys is testing whether consumers will tolerate some new fees for baggage and early check-in. I'm just going to say right now, we will not.
Patty.
I'm hoping. All right. So Southwest Airlines says the new charges will likely take effect in the new year. The nation's largest passenger airline is working to increase revenue by as much as $300 million. This is according to the LA Times. The new fee scale includes a bump from $50 to $75 for a third or overweight bag. Also, early bird check-in will go from $10 to $12.50. The California Department of Fish and Game is playing Santa Claus with stockings of a different kind. We're talking about the stocking of more than 30,000 pounds of live rainbow trout in lakes covering 7 of the 9 Bay Area counties.
That's clever. Who wrote that?
Very nice, Randall White. I just actually was thinking to myself, I'm so glad Randall writes this because he makes me look good.
Thanks.
The boost in fish populations at these local lakes is part of the department's Fishing in the City program, now in its 19th year. Some craft brew lovers may be surprised to know they're actually ordering beer made by some of the world's largest brewers when they belly up at their local pub. The organization representing many of the nation's small brew pubs and microbreweries have had it and let their feelings be heard this past week when they called out the parent companies of Budweiser, Miller, and Coors for deceptive labeling. The Brewers Association says the craft-like beers do not indicate in any way that they are made by the big guys. Examples include Blue Moon, made by S.A.B. Miller, and Shock Top, made by Anheuser-Busch InBev, both headquartered in Europe. Best advice for local craft beer lovers, head to a locally owned brew pub, and you can always ask your server which tap is brewed regionally.
Right. So many people think that like a Bud is so American or Coors,
Right.
There's nothing more American than supporting your local small business brewer.
Right, a regional, local.
And both Anheuser-Busch, InBev, and Miller Coors
are now owned by European companies.
Right. So
not that that's a bad thing, but if you want to shop local,
that's right.
Just ask. All right, the type of wine you order may say more about your personality than you think, at least according to a new study out of France. Apparently, red wine drinkers are more relaxed than those who drink either white or rosé.
Ooh.
Okay, I can attest to that. Some people I know.
Patty, I think we're going to have to
We're running out of time. Should I finish this up later?
Yes, we'll do it right after the break. I want to hear more about red wine drinkers.
What it says about you and your socioeconomic status.
Also, a little weather update for those of you here in California listening. And we'll talk hookahs right after the break. It is 8:15 just about. You're listening to Eat, Drink, Explore Radio. Some of California's best restaurants, hotels, and homes are perched on steep hillsides with incredible views. But those buildings weren't just thrown there. They were placed on foundations designed and perfected by experts. Throughout much of the Bay Area, those hillside foundations were placed by S.S. Caveney Construction. With nearly 3 decades of experience dealing with the steepest and most difficult terrain, S.S. Caveney Construction is well known for being being the go-to company when quality is your number one concern. Hillsides in California, as you know, are prone to drainage issues that can lead to erosion and slippage. SS Caveney Construction will solve those problems for you. Get a quote today by contacting the team you need. Head to SS Caveney, that's CAVENEY.com, and get your foundation placed correctly the first time. It will be a while before we see the labeling of genetically modified foods, but that doesn't mean you can't be a smart shopper and head to the store armed with knowledge. Our California Love website has a list of local companies producing food right here in California that are GMO-free and, in most cases, organic too. Head to CA, as in California, LUV, as in shorthand for love.com. It's that easy to find our list of local companies with your health in mind. You can also find this list on our Apple and Android smartphone and tablet apps, which are absolutely free in the App Store. Simply search Eat, Drink, Explore and download it to your device. Our California Love website also contains a vegetable and fruit chart so you can more easily buy local produce that's in season. Also, fresh and local recipes from the farmers market. Head there, check it out right now. CALUV.com.
Across the nation, people are stepping up for their mothers, fathers, husbands, wives, partners, sisters, and brothers. They're leading the way and walking to end Alzheimer's, the 6th leading cause of death in the nation. Together, we can reclaim the future. Walk to end Alzheimer's. Start a team. Join a team. Go to alz.org.
Seems everybody's going organic, including lawn care. Did you know communities across the country are converting their lawns, playgrounds, and playing fields to an organic care program? And it's working. You can safely control weeds and pests and have a beautiful lawn. Your kids, pets, and water supplies will be safer, and your neighbors will be green with envy. Oh, and in the long run, organic lawn care is cheaper than doing it the conventional way. Switch to organic lawn care today. Visit pesticidefreelawns.org. The folks who brought you this public service message. Check out pesticidefreelawns.org today.
Jessica.
Hi, Mrs. Johnson. Is Megan there?
Sure. Follow me. The kids are in the kitchen making sandwiches.
Hey, Julie. Hi, Megan. Hey, Megan.
Yeah?
You're a total freak. God, you're ugly. And dumb. Oh, and your makeup makes you look like a tramp. Tommy Morris told me you guys made out.
Oh my God.
Everybody knows. The whole school knows. He said your breath smelled like garbage. And that dress is totally hideous. You look like a big fat clown. Disgusting. Oh, and by the way, nice zit.
If you wouldn't say it in person, why say it online? Delete cyberbullying. Don't write it, don't forward it. For more information, visit ncpc.org. A message from the U.S. Department of Justice, Crime Prevention Coalition of America, National Crime Prevention Council, and the Ad Council.
And a good day, good day, good day. Like we're, broadcasting live from Australia?
Good day, mate.
We are broadcasting live from California's Central Coast, as a matter of fact. If this is your first time tuning in, we cover a large portion of the state, but we are here in lovely, quaint, tiny San Luis Obispo on a rainy morning.
Yes, it is a little bit rainy out there. In fact, we are looking at rain. I didn't finish up the forecast last time, so I'll just tell you now. We're looking at rain throughout the week for California. Temperatures in the 60s. South of us here in San Luis Obispo, in the 50s for the northern portion of the state.
Yes.
Won't be as cold overnight, though, which will be nice because it has been freezing
and we
at
have
our
not
house.
Turned on the...
You haven't given in yet? I did.
We did the fireplace, but we haven't turned on the actual heater.
Yeah, we did give in to that.
I could see my breath the other morning.
Your house.
Inside the house, and I'm like, okay, we're right at the point. The thing is that we turn our heater off during the summertime because when it gets really hot, I don't know, there's something wrong with our thermostat, and it kicks the fan for the heater on when we get around 90, 100 degrees. So
that's perfect.
Right. So
just when you want your heater to come on.
Anywhere from like April on, we have
You
to
just
go,
disable it.
Yeah, we have to go out the back and climb through some bushes and get over to the switchers. And
you haven't been up to doing that quite yet to turn it back on?
No, I'm so cold and lazy. I don't want to go outside, so I just sit there and suffer looking at my own breath. But at any rate, Patty, you were mentioning during the news, and we didn't get to hear all of it, how red wine drinkers differ from those who like rosé and white.
Okay,
and this is a study out of where? France?
This is a study out of France, and it is about what the type of wine you order says about your personality. So apparently red wine drinkers are more relaxed than those who drink white or rosé.
I could agree.
I know a couple of rosé drinkers that I'm related to.
Some dry rosés are delicious.
Yeah, they go for the sweet kind.
Yeah, right.
Just to be clear, the study also found those who prefer red are more likely to have degrees, higher incomes, spouses, and more glasses per week on average.
Oh, okay. So got about 3 out of 4, or 4. I think I hit that one 4 for 4.
They like their red wine. Now, most of those taking part in the survey were in the United Kingdom, not here in the U.S., but
so does it
you
translate?
Can infer from that what you will.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. So they really focused on the red wine drinkers. I'm curious what some of the attributes of the others are.
Right.
There's been a couple of waves, I'd say maybe 10 years ago and then more recently of, higher end blushes that really are just some of the best.
Right.
There is a champagne that we get, Anthony. What's that champagne called that we buy from time to time that's a blush?
Oh,
not the mums. No. It's one of your favorites. Roederer. A Roederer has a blush. I said champagne, sparkling wine that is fantastic. So if you see that, and it's a relatively good price point in the upper teens.
Okay.
To 20 something
for the bubblies,
for the
bubbly lovers out there.
Exactly. All right, Patty.
That's it.
That's it. You're done.
I'm done. It's all you now. Take it away.
I'm happy to. I don't know. I guess it was a month or so ago. I was on Facebook and I saw my niece she was visiting up in Portland and she posted a picture of something she bought. It was a hookah.
Oh.
And posted it right there for
How
everyone.
old is your niece?
She's an adult now. She's 18.
Okay.
And so I was like, it's just a hookah.
They're very trendy right
very
now.
Very trendy. It's not a big deal. But then I started to do a little more research, and this week, the state of California really came out and said, hey, this is a problem. And I wasn't exactly sure why, so I looked a little more into it. Unfortunately, the people with the state of California were not able to join us today. Everyone that works for the state has off on the weekends. So
really?
They couldn't make time for us. I'm just saying. I'm like, so how big of a problem is this? You can't do it on a Sunday? But no, that's not. Wow, the nails come out, huh, Randall? Yeah. No, I do want to get their point across, and that is that in the wake of California's no smoking in bars and restaurants, hookah lounges have found a way around it by 2 different ways. The law has a couple of vulnerabilities. One is if you are a owner-operated establishment with no employees, because really the smoking law isn't for the patrons, it's for the employees. And so if you own the place and you don't have any employees, then you're not hurting anyone but yourself. And customers have an option to come into your establishment, whereas workers really don't. They do have a choice of where to work, but in many, it's not the same as being a customer. So many of the hookah lounges in California are set up that way. Others are claiming that their number one source of revenue is tobacco, and that they're really tobacco.
So it's like a tobacco shop, not like a bar that has to adhere to certain no smoking regulations. Interesting.
But many of these hookah lounges have now gotten liquor licenses and sell food and stuff like that. So they, the law is not clear enough to close them down. Because they do they do sell a certain, I don't know what percentage of their sales are tobacco and the rental of these hookah pipes. But the problem is the tobacco that goes into these hookahs is like peach scented,
it's
raspberry, fruity,
and aromatic, and appealing.
And it goes through this water pipe, so you might have the impression that it is less dangerous than smoking a cigarette. But according to the state of California, it's not.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And well, there is a filtering through
Through the water. Because it's
does that help any at all? Do you know?
Not according to the state. And the problem is I mean, really, it's just a water bong from the 70s. You know what I mean?
Essentially, that is
Right.
what it is. Although they're very decorative, and usually, I've seen the settings where it looks very comfortable. People lounging around on pillows and
you feel like you're being sort of international. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it has an appeal.
Yes,
and I get
very
it.
cool.
It's social.
very suave.
Right. And it's another hook, another way for you get hooked with the hookah.
The hookah hook.
Yeah, for the tobacco companies to hook young kids.
We went to Europe over the summer with a group of people, a lot of them connected to us through school. So some of the parents and teachers went out on an excursion without kids and then came back the next day and said, oh my gosh, you should have gone with us. We went to this super cool hookah lounge. We've never smoked before, but we were smoking a hookah last night. And they thought they were, kind of that same feeling of being
Right.
part of this cool new
We're so European right now.
Yeah, hip trend. We were in Dresden. What was the district? Was it I want to say Oxford? It was a kind of a hipsterish area where the people who
It's
were
in
out
London.
And they were out on the street, and they were just the very hippest of
The
cool.
hippest of the hippest Brits.
Yes, and hookah lounges were quite a few there.
Well, hopefully it's a short-lived trend. According to the state of California, smoking hookah for 45 to 60 minutes, because you sit around in a circle. In some cases,
a social thing.
Yeah, you pass it around. Can be equivalent to smoking 100 or more cigarettes.
Whoa.
That seems extreme, but that's what it says right
And
in
this
front of
is
me here.
according to the California website, the state website.
Yes. In addition, the charcoal used in the tobacco heating process produces the toxin carbon monoxide. We know that's not good.
Right.
It
And
steals oxygen from
The
you.
secondhand smoke from this hookah, according to this website, is really no different than what you would, get if you were in a smoky bar.
Right.
From cigarettes.
No. I used to, I was a bartender at a place when smoking was still allowed. And I remember we had a really long bar. This was at the Mayan Brewing Company up in Larkspur, California. And half the bar was allowed for smoking and the other half wasn't. Like there was this wall.
Yes. No smoke past here.
Right. And I always was hoping that I would, we had two bartenders, and I was always hoping I'd be on the non-smoking side, when it really didn't matter. And then
gosh.
we went ahead of the state of California and banned smoking at the Mayan Brewing Company prior to the state law.
Even before it became the thing.
Oh, we had some irate customers.
I bet.
Yeah. Grace Slick from Jefferson Starship, one of them. She
Oh.
was not happy with our changes. She came back, though. 8:28 the time. You're listening to the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network. Just after this break, we are talking Mayan cooking.
I can't wait to hear about this. This
Because
is cool.
their calendar is about to roll over. So we thought, hey, let's celebrate it. It's like their New Year's.
Right.
It's like their new,
It's
I don't know what you call it.
maybe end of the world, their new year.
Back in a moment. Some of California's best restaurants, hotels, and homes are perched on steep hillsides with incredible views. But those buildings weren't just thrown there. They were placed on foundations designed and perfected by experts. Throughout much of the Bay Area, those hillside foundations were placed by S.S. Caveney Construction. With nearly 3 decades of experience dealing with the steepest and most difficult terrain, S.S. Caveney Construction is well known for being the go-to company when quality is your number one concern. Hillsides in California, as you know, are prone to drainage issues that can lead to erosion and slippage. S.S. Caveney Construction will solve those problems for you. Get a quote today by contacting the team you need. Head to S.S. Caveney, that's CAVENEY.com, and get your foundation placed correctly the first time.
Hello, this is Julia Louis-Dreyfus, and I want to tell you about my new favorite discovery, Yosemite National Park. I recently went there with my husband and children, and we walked the trails to see the breathtaking waterfalls, admired the grand meadows, and giant sequoias. But the future of our national parks is uncertain. Many challenges face our parks today, from polluted air and water to development threats outside their borders and inadequate funding to protect our national heritage. That's why the National Parks Conservation Association recently completed a decade-long assessment of the challenges facing our national parks, along with proposed actions that will ensure our children and grandchildren will be able to enjoy the parks as we have. Our national parks have inspired Americans for nearly 100 years. As we approach the centennial of the National Park Service in 2016, please join us in helping to protect our national park legacy. Find out how at www.mpca.org.
What if it wasn't always about getting ahead? What if you didn't care about being on the fast track? What if your career goals were to change? Instead of flying off to the big interview, what if you flew somewhere else altogether? To embark on a different track, to volunteer in ways you never dreamed of, in places you never imagined yourself being. Like a tiny island in the Pacific, barely visible on a map, but where needs are easy to see. Or a village on the African continent, where just a little training in HIV awareness can change the fate of thousands. What if you decided to share your skills with others and help someone else get ahead? Peace Corps. Life is calling. How far will you go? To find out more, call 800-424-8580 or visit peacecorps.gov.
For the latest video and information from today's show, head on over to eatdrinkexplore.com. We're constantly updating it with the latest food, beverage, and travel trends. Also, we're launching a new section of the site called California Love. This is where we recommend great companies, and the best part is every single business we feature is locally owned. We've checked them out and are confident you'll love them as much as we do. This is a great tool to have as we head into the holiday shopping season. Since you're already spending money, you might as well support your neighbor. We choose businesses that give back to the community, care about the environment, or use only the freshest local and organic ingredients. They also make their products here, not overseas. Our California Love business recommendation tool is still in the development stages, but will be available very soon at eatdrinkexplore.com. Eat Drink Explore Media, your lifestyle information source. 8:33 now the time here on this Sunday morning, and a very good day to you as you start your Sunday. It's a damp, wet Sunday, and we're looking at a string of damp, wet days leading up to the end of the world. No, I'm just teasing. Good morning, everyone. I'm Randall White, joined by Patty Piper.
Good morning.
Well, I say it completely tongue-in-cheek. The whole end of the world thing is just ridiculous. NASA, go to their website.
Isn't it funny that NASA has a little section addressing the end of the Earth on 12/21/12?
They made a video call. I think they call it the day after. So just search NASA the day after. And they made it ahead of time. They're like, okay, so you should be watching you can watch it now, but it says, you're watching this, it's the day after, and we were confident enough to make this video because nothing's happening.
That's so funny.
It was completely a misinterpretation years ago that just, this is the rumor mill that just makes things.
It stuck.
It really stuck. Mm-hmm. So if this is the first you've heard of it.
A fun way to celebrate the day after would be with some Mayan cooking, right?
Absolutely. That's what I think. Why not? Since we have so much focus on the Maya, why not take a look at that? Because Mexico has so much regional cooking, and the Mayan dishes are different. By the way, we will be sharing recipes that you'll hear. You may not hear some of these during the segment. The ones that we'll be putting up right away after the show are from our friend Joe Seals, who's the culinary director at the Lucia Mar School District in San Luis Obispo County. He shared some with us this morning. But right now, we want to take it to a woman who wrote the book on Mayan cooking. Her name is, and I want to make sure I get this correct, Sonia Lilvik. with the painted fish and other Mayan feasts. She joins us from South or North Carolina this morning?
North Carolina.
Well, hello, Sonia. How are you?
Very good. Good to speak with you, Randall.
Oh, thank you so much. So I'm curious, how did you get so interested in Mayan specifically dishes?
Well, I happen to have moved to the Yucatan Peninsula to work at a place for a 4-month contract, and then I decided to re-up for 4 months, and it was a beach cabana hotel.
Rough.
And then I had to run the kitchen, but nobody spoke Spanish or English, only Mayan, and I only spoke English, so it was quite the thing. But they did the special dishes, the Mayan dishes, and then I covered the more international things. And we would serve up to 80 people at a time in a sand floor dining room.
Well,
then I proceeded to stay on and went deeper into the
jungle
peninsula in order to learn Spanish. And so what I found was that I would saddle up to any of the chefs in any parties or home cooks, because there you have the international language of food.
Yes.
Oh, yes. What a great language that is. It sounds like a really wonderful experience. I'm curious to know what sort of base ingredients, like are we talking rice and beans, tortillas? What's like kind of the main thing that describes Mayan cooking?
Well, it's absolutely a corn culture. So corn is where man came from as far as they're concerned in their mythology, and black beans. My husband, I did, matter of fact, hook up with a nice Mayan Mexican man, Armando, and he says it's not a meal if it doesn't have black beans.
Oh.
So those are some basics, and then they do like hot food, very picante. And that would be the habanero chili. And that's debatable where that really comes from. Some say from Cuba, from Havana, became habanero, and others say many things, but it is definitely from the Yucatan where a lot of this, the habanero was grown. Now I come back to the States for a visit, and I go to the supermarket, and there's habanero everywhere. So people have adjusted their taste to very hot food, and habanero used to be the hottest one in the world, and I think there's some other ones now. They cross-pollinate very easily, chilies in general, and people are definitely eating things in much hotter than they were years ago when I first started running a little restaurant down there.
That's for sure. In fact, if you watch the show Mad Men, there's an episode where he travels to Don Drake, I think is his name, travels to Los Angeles, and one of I think it's one of his coworkers or his boss wants to take him to Palm Springs, and he goes to Palm Springs. He meets up with this woman there, and the woman wants to take him to a Mexican restaurant, and he says, "Oh, I've never had Mexican," and that is accurate for someone living in New York in the early 60s. There was one registered Mexican restaurant.
Me.
Isn't that interesting? I find that fascinating because I grew up eating Mexican food here in California.
And me in Arizona.
Okay, and I'm still a wimp.
In fact, the restaurant we would always go to I'm sorry. Go ahead, Sonia.
I'm from Finnish background, and believe me, the Finns don't eat spicy food.
Right. The restaurant I grew up going to in Nevada was called Maya, and I think it's pronounced Palenque.
Oh.
Palenque?
Yeah, Palenque. Maya Palenque. We pronounced it completely wrong at the time, but but that's I now know, and it's still in operation, and it's a really great place. I noticed a lot of seafood with these Mayan dishes.
Absolutely. You know, the whole peninsula is surrounded, and I had the good fortune to live right on the Caribbean. And then if you go around the tip past Cancun, then you're in the Gulf. So there, obviously, fish was very important. You find fish and crab and conch and lobster in the glyphs of the ancient Mayans, like in the Tulum ruin site and many other places. So, and there were inland waterways and then cross-country paths, but it was a white path that they would make with stone so that people could communicate with other communities, and it provided a route for trade also.
Oh, interesting. Sonia, some of the pictures you shared with us that we're sharing now through our video simulcast shows a fish that looks like it's been Filleted and drying on like a stick hanger.
It's almost like it was turned inside out.
Yes. And this is an ancient thing, and also even in Punta Allen where I lived, they still don't have 24-hour electricity. So if you don't have refrigeration, you have to figure out how else you can preserve things. And salt is one of the major ingredients used throughout the world. And with the salt from the sea, and also in the Yucatan Peninsula, on the northern tip on the Gulf, there is a big salt mine, and it's still a big product that's exported. So what you do is take a giant, one of these nice, good-sized fish and score it down to the skin, and then lather it with salt and put it in the sun to dry.
Oh, so it's almost like a type of fish jerky.
Yeah.
Yes, and so when you want to eat it, now some people have developed a taste for this very salty fish. I myself, I like to wash it many, many times, maybe even
soak the salt out of it.
Yes, But the fish will be good, and it's a wonderful way for preserving when you don't have refrigeration.
So I'm curious.
And it's still used today.
I am curious. What is like your favorite Mayan recipe? What do you make? What's your go-to Mayan dish?
Okay, well, there's several, but I'll tell you the one that I think you mentioned my book is called The Painted Fish. Well, I took that from the name Teek and Sheik, which is the Mayan name for this fish. Another fish picture you might have, it's on a leaf, and it's been a large fish has been butterflied out. Now, you could do this with a smaller fish and serve individual fish to people, but you butterfly the fish out, and then you lather it in achiote sauce. And that brings me to talk about the three main ricottados that the Mayans use. They make a spice paste, and one is red, one is black, and one they call it white, but it's really kind of brown. And they're different ingredients that they would grind up in hand grind, and then when you're ready to use it, you will take a pinch of it off, or as much, if it's a bigger fish, you take a big pinch or a little ball of it and dissolve it in either water or lime juice. And then you use that as a marinade. And you do that with all of them, and they are very big on soups and stews and that kind of thing because they had big families. And let's face it, they didn't have ovens. They're cooking over open fires.
Right.
So this Teek and Sheik, or painted fish, was the first dish I ever had with Armando when I arrived in his little village. And
how romantic.
I like that story.
Yes,
that's cute.
So they had brought this. I had brought this big fish, and I saw they had this big fish. But then I was talking and laughing. I turned around, and it was painted red. So that's where that comes from.
And so the achiote is the red version of the sauce.
Yes, it comes from a tree called a lipstick tree plant.
Lipstick, like what you put on your lips?
That's what they call it because it does stain somewhat, and I think the ancients would use it to paint their faces, and so it is durable, and it comes in a pod. And then you break open the pod, and then there are these little seeds with a coating of this very rich, rusty red color.
I love it. Sonia, can you share one of your recipes with us and then like an excerpt from your book? And then we'll, of course, provide a link for the entire book on our website, but sort of a taster to get people to go to the site
so
to
they
learn
can check
more.
it out. Yeah, they get a sample.
Absolutely. I would stick with this ricotta rojo, and you would use the achiote and mix it with cinnamon, cloves, peppercorns, a little bit of cumin, oregano, garlic, and grind that up in a mezcati. And then you would use some oil with it. However, if you don't want to go to all the trouble to make this, it's sort of compared with curries where you have to mix all these ingredients. You can buy it in the supermarket now. You can get an achiote paste. There's several brands. I guess the one that's been around the longest is Anita brand.
All right.
Then I would have the fish butterflied out by your fish market man.
Right.
Have a professional do it. Yeah.
I bought some really nice fish the other day and tried to cut it up and just ended up making fish paste. It was awful. Sonia Lilvik with the painted fish and other Mayan feasts. You can find the recipe she just spoke about on our website at eatdrinkexplore.com. That won't be there till later this afternoon, though. Sonia, thank you for joining us.
It was great fun.
All righty, stick around, everyone. San Francisco Chronicle's travel writer Spud Hilton up next. Some of California's best restaurants, hotels, and homes are perched on steep hillsides with incredible views. But those buildings weren't just thrown there. They were placed on foundations designed and perfected by experts. Throughout much of the Bay Area, those hillside foundations were placed by S.S. Caveney Construction. With nearly 3 decades of experience dealing with the steepest and most difficult terrain, S.S. Caveney Construction is well known for being the go-to company when quality is your number one concern. Hillsides in California, as you know, are prone to drainage issues that can lead to erosion and slippage. S.S. Caveney Construction will solve those problems for you. Get a quote today by contacting the team you need. Head to S.S. Caveney, that's CAVENEY.com, and get your foundation placed correctly the first time. It will be a while before we see the labeling of genetically modified foods, but that doesn't mean you can't be a smart shopper and head to the store armed with knowledge. Our California Love website has a list of local companies producing food right here in California that are GMO-free and, in most cases, organic too. Head to CA, as in California, LUV, as in shorthand for love.com. It's that easy to find our list of local companies with your health in mind. You can also find this list on our Apple and Android smartphone and tablet apps, which are absolutely free in the App Store. Simply search Eat, Drink, Explore and download it to your device. Our California Love website also contains a vegetable and fruit chart so you can more easily buy local produce that's in season. Also, fresh and local recipes from the farmers market. Head there, check it out right now. CALUV.com.
Seems everybody's going organic, including lawn care. Did you know communities across the country are converting their lawns, playgrounds, and playing fields to an organic care program? And it's working. You can safely control weeds and pests and have a beautiful lawn. Your kids, pets, and water supplies will be safer, and your neighbors will be green with envy. Oh, and in the long run, organic lawn care is cheaper than doing it the conventional way. Switch to organic lawn care today. Visit pesticidefreelawns.org. The folks who brought you this public service message. Check out pesticidefreelawns.org today.
Across the nation, people are stepping up for their mothers, fathers, husbands, wives, partners, sisters, and brothers. They're leading the way and walking to end Alzheimer's, the 6th leading cause of death in the nation. Together, we can reclaim the future. Walk to end Alzheimer's. Start a team. Join a team. Go to alz.org.
For the latest video and information from today's show, head on over to eatdrinkexplore.com. We're constantly updating it with the latest food, beverage, and travel trends. Also, we're launching a new section of the site called California Love. This is where we recommend great companies, and the best part is every single business we feature is locally owned. We've checked them out and are confident you'll love them as much as we do. This is a great tool to have as we head into the holiday shopping season. Since you're already spending money, you might as well support your neighbor. We choose businesses that give back to the community, care about the environment, or use only the fresh local and ingredients. They also make their products here, not overseas. Our California Love business recommendation tool is still in the development stages, but will be available very soon at eatdrinkexplore.com. Eat, Drink, Explore Media, your lifestyle information source.
You've waited all week, and it's finally here. The Eat, Drink, Explore Weekly Travel Deals Extravaganza.
Yes, indeed. 8:49 the time on this Sunday morning, and hope your day is off to a great start so far. Maybe have a little fire in the fireplace.
That sounds nice.
Right. Nice
a little chilly outside.
Cup of tea, some coffee. I had some white tea the other day, which I've never had before, but it's supposed to be great for you with like antioxidants and all that sort of thing. There was a container of it at home. Ricardo, did you pick that up at the store? I don't know where it came from.
It appeared, so you drank it.
So I drank it, yes, which isn't always a good idea, but in this case, it was delicious and a great way to warm up because we haven't turned the heater on at home yet. So
It has been cold overnight recently. Jeez.
that is for sure. Okay, it is our travel and tourism segment, and we welcome someone new to the show this week because we like to mix it up, of course. And if you read the San Francisco Chronicle or go online to sfgate.com, then you have certainly seen Spud Hilton's pieces, always entertaining. His blog, Bad Latitude. I just love the name of that, although he has anything but like a bad attitude. His little video pieces are fantastic. In fact, I'm going to ask him in just a moment about one he did on traveling during the holidays and something you can do. It's an exercise, he calls it, but it's fun. We'll ask him about that here in just a second. Anyway, he's freshly back from a riverboat and kayaking tour of Louisiana and made some time for us this morning. Welcome to the program, Spud.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Good. Are you all rested up from your riverboat excursion?
Well, I'm a little bit still on Central Time, but other than that, I'm in pretty good shape. How about you?
Yes, no, we're doing fine. Hey, I saw one of your video blogs the other day. You probably posted it back in November, but it was a travel exercise. Do something nice for someone else. Lift their luggage out of the carousel, whatever it might be.
Well, I got to be honest with you. One of the worst things about travel these days is not the TSA, and it's not the luggage fees, and it's not the lines. It's actually other travelers being oblivious, just being in their own little world and not doing anything for anybody but themselves. So what the exercise is basically you look for an opportunity to do one nice thing for the course of your trip, from the time you leave home till the time you get there. And quite honestly, you might not find that opportunity, but just the fact that you were looking means that you're paying more attention to other people than you are to yourself, and that makes you a better traveler.
It's like an Oprah pay it forward moment.
Yeah, I mean, it can be a pay it forward because when you do that nice thing, not only do you feel good about it, but somebody else, you've changed their view of the way people travel. They said, wow, that was nice. Maybe I'll have to do that for somebody else.
Right.
Yeah, I like that. And that is a good way to get some extra sense of satisfaction from, a trip that, a lot of times we're just doing it for ourselves. So I like that idea.
Well, I wish I could say it was, a brilliant thing to do. It's just that I've been in too many places, in too many lines, with too many people who didn't help when they had a chance. And, you just say, it's not that hard. I mean, really, taking 5 seconds to help somebody put their baggage into the overhead is so ridiculously easy. And the number of people who look at me and say, oh, my God, thank you. Why would
Right.
Whatever.
I can honestly say no one's ever helped me. If anything, they give you stares. Like, how long are you going to be standing over
we want to get this plane off the ground.
Right. You have people in the line trying to find their seats behind you that can't believe you're holding up the line to put your luggage in the overhead. And then the people you're standing right next to are like, okay, move on, mister. But I'm like, and of course I always stuff my baggage too big. So it's like, well, hold on a minute. Trying to get that in.
Trying to crowbar it in there.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's when it comes down to it, is that travel seems to make us very self-contained, very thinking about ourselves and how we're going to get our bag there and how we're going to get first in line and how we're going to, get something for ourselves. And it really is, I think it's a worthy exercise to say, let's figure out how to do more for somebody else.
I love that, Spud. Now, this coming week, I believe, in the Chronicle, the travel section will be sharing bizarre travel stories. Do I have that right?
Oh, gosh.
Actually, I have that. The schedule changed up a little bit. This coming week, not today, but next Sunday, we have the Geo Quiz. We found that, in general, we are just about the worst people on the planet for knowing geography. So we have this one guy named John Flynn who used to run the San Francisco Chronicle's travel section, write up basically, it's a quiz, and we like to see how people do on it. But more than anything, it's just a fun look at learning something new about the world outside of your own backyard.
We love taking quizzes and that sort
Yes.
of thing. So that's next Sunday.
That is fun.
What's in this morning's Chronicle?
In this morning's Chronicle is actually a different look at the city of Berlin from two different angles.
Oh.
One is about how the city has used a lot of its historic buildings in new ways, and one is about taking a bike ride along the dead zone of the Berlin Wall, and we're just calling it Berlin Cycled and Recycled.
Oh, I like that. That whole
That's
area
cool.
where the wall used to be, is much of that a park now?
Yes. I mean, there's a lot of parks where that used to be. There's a lot of, and keep in mind that the wall itself went through the middle of neighborhoods. It literally went between two separate buildings.
Right.
So it winds its way through areas of Berlin that you would not normally go if all you're doing is to go see the tourist spots. Anything that gets you out beyond what the tourist spots are, I highly encourage you to do. And this bicycling tour, in this case, it was an organized tour, but it's not that hard to follow by yourself if you think if you like doing independent travel. Takes you out to spots that are beyond the tourist track.
Now, Patty and I have many times on this show focused on cruising, primarily on the big ocean liners.
Yes.
But we have, from time to time, had guests on that have talked about riverboat cruising.
Yeah, the smaller ones, which sound really fun and intimate.
They do. They sound great. Now, in Europe and such, they're not the riverboats, but here in the United States, along the Mississippi, and I imagine the Missouri River and such, this is really taking off, isn't it?
Well, it's particularly big in Europe because they're getting a lot of growth right now in Europe because for whatever odd reason, the ports in Europe are right in the middle of town.
Oh, right.
So instead of being in some remote, ugly container ship port somewhere, you're right in the middle of town. You're stepping off the boat and you're in the middle of Prague. In the United States, we're starting to return to having a few more paddle wheelers, big steamships in the traditional sense, doing the Mississippi, the Ohio, the Missouri, things like that, because it's another way of looking at the country that maybe you didn't before. And honest to God, if you get on a great big white ship, that's great. I got nothing against that. But you look out at the scenery, and it's the sea. And then it's the sea. And then it's the sea. You look out at the scenery here, and you're seeing something new all the way up.
I love it. Spud Hilton, you can catch his information online. It's blog.sfgate.com/travel. Spud, we look forward to future encounters here on the show and also all of your work that you do.
I'd love that.
Thanks a lot, Spud. Have a great Sunday. Stick around, everyone. Next hour, lots of good stuff coming up. We'll talk beer growlers, also boxed versus bottled wine.
Can't wait to hear that.
You're listening to the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network. I'm your host, Randall White, and we are back in just a moment. Make it a great day. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break. We will be back shortly. Get the latest audio, video, and breaking news from Eat, Drink, Explore Media by following us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. We're easy to find. The URL extension for all of those sites is simply Eat, Drink, Explore. Thank you for your patience. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break, and we'll be back on the air shortly. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break. We will be back shortly. Get the latest audio, video, and breaking news from Eat, Drink, Explore Media by following us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. We're easy to find. The URL extension for all of those sites is simply Eat, Drink, Explore. Thank you for your patience. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break and will be back on the air shortly.
You're listening to the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network. Now here's the host of our show, Mr. Randall White.
Good morning, everyone. 9 o'clock the time here on this Sunday, December the 16th. At sundown today, I believe it is at sundown, is the end of Hanukkah.
Oh.
So we've just gone through is it 7 or 8 days?
I think it's 8
Showing
days.
my ignorance, and I apologize.
Dresden?
Eight nights.
8 nights, that's
8
right.
nights.
She's quoting the Adam Sandler song about Hanukkah.
Oh, 8 crazy nights.
Yes.
Right. We're talking to Dresden, that is Patty's daughter, who comes into studio with us each Sunday morning, which, thank you, Dresden. It's her excuse to drive, I think. She gets to,
so you're on to her.
Right. She's what, 15?
She's coming in to help with the radio show / drive with Mom.
Drive, yes. So Hanukkah coming to an end tonight. Happy Hanukkah, everyone. And also, we are just a little less than a week away from the big day, December 25th, Christmas.
Stop it. You're freaking me out. I have too much to do still.
I know, there's a lot to do.
What I'm saying always at this time of year. Have you ever heard me say, I'm done, I'm good, I'm set?
No.
No.
But that's only because you're juggling a zillion things, Patty Piper. I'll tell you what, we did decorate the house this year, and I've noticed a number of really elaborately decorated homes in San Luis Obispo. One of them that I'm sure a lot of people have seen is right on Madonna Road near the Laguna Lake Shopping Center. This home every year.
I think I saw pictures that you put on Facebook, right?
I did put one on Facebook.
Yeah, they look cool.
Covered from head to toe, this house. Or I guess roof to...
Do you think that LED lights are making people more apt to decorate? Because I feel like I see more decorated. I don't know if I'm looking for them, if that's what it is, and I was thinking to myself, is it LED lights? It's more reasonable to do that now.
More completely covered homes.
Yes,
because you can
elaborate.
put more lights. Yeah. And it's so little on the bill. There's a Gumyoung style house?
That Gangnam style. Not here.
Oh, the lights flicker to
the
it. Anthony, our audio guy's talking to us. You can't hear him, but he's he saw it on the Today Show.
A house that is the music is set to the Gangnam style. That's just that.
It's the
storming the nation.
what was that dance? Remember? It's like the Macarena.
It's the new Macarena.
Right. It'll come and go just as fast, I have a feeling.
The Korean version of the Macarena.
Right. So earlier when we were talking about Hanukkah, since this is a food, wine, and travel show, one of the big dishes are potato pancakes called latkes. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. And I have had one of these before. And they're delicious. They're basically a fried potato, a pancake.
Yes.
What's wrong with that? Nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
They're delicious.
Yum.
One of my friends from the East Coast, I saw him post the other day saying that he had just had one of the best ones ever, But I think that happens almost with every single one that you have.
You're like, this now is the best one ever.
Is the best one ever, exactly. So I didn't partake in any of the traditional Hanukkah foods this year. Maybe next year. What's your favorite Christmas dish, Patty?
Everything.
Do you serve, a lot of people, they serve the turkey at Thanksgiving and then a ham at Christmas?
We kind of do an instant replay of Thanksgiving dinner, but on a smaller scale because my family really likes that. So I always say to the kids, should we do something different? And they're like, no, we want turkey again.
We want turkey again.
So I usually do turkey and ham, and then we have turkey soup and ham soup. right now we're finishing up ham and white bean soup
Yeah.
in my house. So we'll do a smaller version of that again for Christmas. That's what we normally do.
I do some level of Chinese every single Christmas, and it just comes from my years and years of having to work Christmas for the different television stations that I worked for. And so you find yourself at the station, and some station owners are nicer than others and will provide some sort of a Christmas meal for those that have to work.
Sometimes, but not always or
so
often.
Right. So you're hungry after you've worked a full day, and the only restaurants that are typically open are either fast food or Chinese. So I got in the habit of doing Chinese, and I love it.
Our family did Chinese Christmas Eve, and then for a while we did Mexican food, so we kind of go back and forth. The family in Phoenix, that was our Christmas Eve dinner tradition.
Well, tamales are perfect at Christmas time. Okay, just about 9:05 the time, everyone. At 9:06, we kick off the second hour of the show, and lots of great information coming up, including beer growlers. It will be a while before we see the labeling of genetically modified foods, but that doesn't mean you can't be a smart shopper and head to the store armed with knowledge. Our California Love website has a list of local companies producing food right here in California that are GMO-free and, in most cases, organic too. Head to CA, as in California, LUV, as in shorthand for love.com. It's that easy to find our list of local companies with your health in mind. You can also find this list on our Apple and Android smartphone and tablet apps, which are absolutely free in the App Store. Simply search Eat, Drink, Explore and download it to your device. Our California Love website also contains a vegetable and fruit chart so you can more easily buy local produce that's in season. Also, fresh and local recipes from the farmers market. Head there, check it out right now. CALUV.com.
You're listening to the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network.
Fabulous.
Live every Sunday with the very latest food, beverage, and travel trends.
Amazing.
Now here's the host of our show, Mr. Randall White.
And a very good morning, everyone. 9:06 the time.
I like the new open.
Oh, do you like the new open?
I was just watching that. That's very cool.
If you're watching us online, either via our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/eatdrinkexplore. We have a Ustream app right there that you can click on, or at eatdrinkexplore.com. Either way, you can find us. I put together a little open.
You did that last night. You know, you could get a job doing stuff like that, Randall. It's really talented.
I love working with graphics, actually.
That's awesome.
It's one of my favorite pastimes when I have some spare time to put together new graphics for the show. So it was kind of fun to do that new
cool.
little open
and I
there.
like it. It looks good.
Yeah. I noticed the champagne cork pop was off by a half a second, and I think that was my fault.
I thought something looked wrong there. Of course, you noticed the little details. I was like, oh, looks great. Didn't notice the champagne cork out of time.
No, okay, good. Great to have you with us, everyone. Glad you can be here for the show today, wherever you may be listening here in the state of California. It is where Californians come to talk about food, wine, craft beer, travel, and tourism.
All things delicious.
All things delicious. And you're hearing Patty Pyburn there, my wonderful, lovely, talented co-host.
Good morning.
Your host, Randall White, and we come to you live from California's Central Coast, but we spread it out around the state each and every Sunday so that, you get the latest current information on food, beverage, and travel trends.
You know what your options are.
That is for sure. Okay, coming up in our second hour of the show here, we will be speaking with the editor-in-chief of Mutineer Magazine. It is a mutiny, I say. But his name is Brian Kropf, and Mutineer Magazine's all about cocktails.
Okay, well, they're onto something.
Cocktails and beer out of Los Angeles, I believe, which is we try to keep it here in California. Anyway, Brian wrote an article about growlers a while back, and growlers are those containers of beer that you can get from a local brewery. Well, tomorrow is National Growler Day, and there's kind of a hitch here in California. You can't just buy a growler anywhere and then go and get it filled up. You need to get it filled up from the brewery that sells you the growler.
Oh, okay. So you can't it's not like a coffee, like a stainless steel coffee cup where you can take somewhere, anywhere.
Right.
You have to take it back to where it originated.
Which makes it not as sustainable, not as
Right.
recyclable. If you move, you've got growlers from some local brewery where you used to live.
Yeah.
So we'll talk to Brian about that. That's just a California thing. You head up to Oregon and Washington, two other big craft beer states, and that's not the case. So anyway,
I want California to change that.
I know. So do I. So we'll talk to Brian about that. And then also boxed versus bottled wine. UC Davis came out with a study regarding those.
I want to hear about this.
We'll chat about that. And then in the final segment, Patty and I will share some recipes to close out the hour. But right now, it is time to do our travel, or not our travel, our trivia segment. Yes. And this is where we take leisure, food, wine, travel stories from the week and turn them into trivia questions.
Yes.
And Patty and I challenge each other, starting always with Patty Pyburn. So go ahead and
Patty first.
kick one down my way, Patty.
Okay, so I decided to go with the hookah topic that we were talking about earlier, this growing trend of people smoking hookahs. So, Randall White,
Yes.
what were hookahs originally designed to smoke way back when they were originally designed? Oh, should I give you the options? Opium, hashish, tobacco, or herbs?
I'll say opium.
And I'll say you're right. Also hashish. You could have. I gave you two right answers there.
Right.
Opium and hashish originally.
But as we know now in California, primarily it's tobacco.
Tobacco
and
would be the legal thing you could smoke in them.
Right, exactly. And we are not saying to do that. In fact, we were mentioning last hour how
There's a study that I was
dangerous
just
they are.
looking up from VCU, the Virginia Commonwealth University, that says they are far, far more toxic than cigarettes. They did a whole study on it.
Wow, and we know how bad cigarettes are for you.
It's a misnomer that this whole filtering it through water makes it better or a healthier option, and it says absolutely not the case.
And it's not. All right, Patty, a California commercial fisherman was fined nearly $13,000 this week for doing what? Catching dozens of Dungeness crabs in a protected marine area, fishing for salmon out of season with more than 6 lines on his boat and using barbed hooks, all bad, or talking back to a judge during his hearing for poaching the state's endangered black abalone.
Talking back to the judge.
$13,000. You're saying talking to the judge, or talking back to the judge.
Contempt of court. Nope.
No, sorry, Patty. According to the San Francisco Chronicle, the fisherman was caught December 11th with 58 Dungeness crabs landing in traps within the 12-square-mile Montara. Is it Montara? I should know this. Montara State Marine Reserve. I'm just sure if it's not Montara, but I'm
not sure.
It's probably Montara. Along the coast of San Mateo County.
Wow.
He was ordered Wednesday to pay $12,500 in penalties and also any fees related.
Did he not know where he was, or was he just like, no one's going to know?
I don't, I'm not sure.
You don't know.
So I don't want to point a finger that direction. I just don't know.
Okay. All right. So back to the hookah.
Yes. Okay.
What were hookahs originally made from? Bamboo, glass, clay, a goat horn, or a coconut shell? Bamboo, glass, clay, goat horn, or coconut shell?
I'm going to say clay.
Coconut shell? The first. A millennia ago, coconut shells originally. I think eventually all of those forms, not sure about the clay, but they were eventually made out of bamboo and all of those different things.
Interesting. And I did not, I should have gone with that one because you wouldn't
shell.
have come up with that. No, I'm just teasing. Okay, this past week, Patty Pyburn, what washed ashore near the Santa Cruz County community of Aptos? Was it a World War II floating naval mine, a subspecies of gray whale that scientists had yet to catalog, or 12 miles of dead squid?
I kind of feel like it's dead squid. Is it dead squid? Am I making that up? Yay! I kind of vaguely remember hearing something about dead squid.
That's right. According to KPIX, Channel 5 in San Francisco, several hundred dead Humboldt squid washed ashore along a stretch of Aptos to Watsonville. They stranded themselves during high tide. Some people did try to put them back in the water. One scientist on scene says the deep water creatures swam right back on shore. And
they were confused.
A little puzzling, yeah. So.
You know, it was King's Tide, that really big tide for California. I have no idea if that's connected, but interesting.
Right.
Okay, my last hookah question. And one of one of the concerns about the hookah is it's trendy, it's popular, people think it's kind of a chic, cool thing to do. And it's really attractive to kids right now. And I'm hearing that from high schoolers that a lot of kids are trying this with this idea that it's somehow safer or better. And one of the draws is this fruity, aromatic tobacco. Shisha is a mixture of tobacco, treacle, honey, or sugar. So treacle, honey, or sugar, that's the sweetener in it. What, Randall, is treacle?
Oh, what is treacle?
Got him.
I'll say some sort of rice pudding. No. Why did I say rice pudding?
I don't know, but I feel like treacle is used in rice pudding.
Oh, what is it?
It's a sweetener made of molasses.
Oh.
It's a dark brown sweetener or syrupy thing, and it's molasses based. Now you know what treacle is.
I have one more question that I want to get to.
Out of time.
I don't think
Can
I'm
we
gonna
do
have
it on
time.
the other side?
We'll do it on the other side of the break here. It is just about 9:15. You're listening to the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network. Back in a moment. Some of California's best restaurants, hotels, and homes are perched on steep hillsides with incredible views. But those buildings weren't just thrown there. They were placed on foundations designed and perfected by experts. Throughout much of the Bay Area, those hillside foundations were placed by S.S. Caveney Construction. With nearly 3 decades of experience dealing with the steepest and most difficult terrain, S.S. Caveney Construction is well known for being the go-to company when quality is your number one concern. Hillsides in California, as you know, are prone to drainage issues that can lead to erosion and slippage. S.S. Caveney Construction will solve those problems for you. Get a quote today by contacting the team you need. Head to S.S. Caveney, that's CAVENEY.com, and get your foundation placed correctly the first time. It will be a while before we see the labeling of genetically modified foods, but that doesn't mean you can't be a smart shopper and head to the store armed with knowledge. Our California Love website has a list of local companies producing food right here in California that are GMO-free and, in most cases, organic too. Head to CA, as in California, LUV, as in shorthand for love.com. It's that easy to find our list of local companies with your health in mind. You can also find this list on our Apple and Android smartphone and tablet apps, which are absolutely free in the App Store. Simply search Eat, Drink, Explore and download it to your device. Our California Love website also contains a vegetable and fruit chart so you can more easily buy local produce that's in season. Also, fresh and local recipes from the farmers market. Head there, check it out right now. CALUV.com.
I don't recycle. I mean, we can just find another planet for your kids to live on, you know?
Noted non-recycler Tommy Crenshaw talks about the future.
Oh, I can totally see finding another planet that can support life when ours fills up with trash.
Log on to yougottabekidding.org and learn about all the ways you can recycle, unless you're into lame excuses like Tommy's.
Hey, recycling's just not my thing. Starting over on a new planet? Now that's exciting.
Don't be that guy, unless you want people looking at you funny. Log on to yougottabekidding.org.
Across the nation, people are stepping up for their mothers, fathers, husbands, wives, partners, sisters, and brothers. They're leading the way and walking to end Alzheimer's, the 6th leading cause of death in the nation. Together, we can reclaim the future. Walk to end Alzheimer's. Start a team. Join a team. Go to alz.org.
For the latest video and information from today's show, head on over to eatdrinkexplore.com. We're constantly updating it with the latest food, beverage, and travel trends. Also, we're launching a new section of the site called California Love. This is where we recommend great companies, and the best part is every single business we feature is locally owned. We've checked them out and are confident you'll love them as much as we do. This is a great tool to have as we head into the holiday shopping grilling season. Since you're already spending money, you might as well support your neighbor. We choose businesses that give back to the community, care about the environment, or use only the freshest local and organic ingredients. They also make their products here, not overseas. Our California Love business recommendation tool is still in the development stages, but will be available very soon at eatdrinkexplore.com. Eat, Drink, Explore Media, your lifestyle information source. The time, everyone, on this Sunday morning, and a very good day to you. Hope your morning is off to a fantastic start so far. When you last left us, I had one more trivia question remaining. So
Bring
I'll
it.
get
Come
to
on.
that immediately. Okay, with the holidays fast approaching, TripAdvisor surveyed more than 1,300 U.S. travelers, and according to the survey, a higher percentage of people will be traveling this holiday season. With most taking a journey during the days surrounding Christmas. The survey says 61% of holiday travelers are off to see family, while the next largest group, 23%, are off to do what? Sightseeing, visit friends, or business travel, Patty? Most are going to family.
I'm going to say they're visiting friends.
You got it. That is exactly right.
I was going to say they were going to Hawaii.
No.
Because so many people, that's their Christmas tradition. I'm so jealous.
I'm jealous of that Christmas tradition. So the favorite holiday song to listen to while traveling apparently is White Christmas. The most annoying holiday song to listen to while traveling, Santa Baby. I would flip those personally.
I like Santa Baby.
I love it. We just heard a performance of Santa Baby the other night at the Royal Grande Center.
At the Clark Center with the jazz band.
And your son playing piano.
Yes, indeed.
It was very, very impressive.
It was fun.
So good morning, everyone. 9:20 the time. Tomorrow is a big day during the holiday season. It is National Growler Day. And if you've never heard of a growler, it is the big glass jug container that holds beer, fresh beer from your local brewery. You just head on in there, you purchase a growler, and then they fill it up for you, and you can continually bring it back to that specific brewery. However, if you purchase a growler and then bring it to another brewery here in California, they cannot fill it up.
I don't like that.
I don't like it either.
That's not earth friendly.
It's a messed up law, in my opinion.
It's not beer friendly either.
There's nothing friendly about it. It's a California Department of Alcohol friendly, apparently. I don't know. But I read a little piece on it that was written back over the summer. However, people continue to comment on this piece, and it was part of a blog that's part of Mutineer Magazine. Brian Croft, editor-in-chief for Mutineer, joins us on the line right now to talk a little bit about it. Hey, Brian.
Hey, Randall. How are you?
Good, thank you. What brought this to your attention initially for you to write a blog on it?
Really, I've seen a lot of it online. People in California are upset because, growlers cost quite a bit of money and they take up quite a bit of room on people's shelves. But whenever they go to a new brewery, they have to pick up a new growler, and it just adds up over time.
Yeah, and one of the whole points of doing the growler is that you have to pay that initial cost, but as you use it time and time again, you're getting a much better deal.
Right, you get a break, and then also we're not just creating so many containers that stack up for no reason, and it's more, eco-friendly, but not if you have to get one for every place.
No. So the California law basically states what, Brian?
It basically states, it's actually really confusing, and I think a lot of breweries get confused on it because some breweries, they will fill any growler, but they'll affix their own information to it, whereas others will only fill theirs. The law says that manufacturers' names, brand names, printer markings must be on returnable beer containers or cartons made of wood or fiber. So they look at that, and I think they just get confused, and because some will do it and some won't. Most of them won't, unfortunately, and I think it's because there's uncertainty as well as they're losing the opportunity to sell a $30 piece of glass.
They say that the containers have to be wood or fiber. Did I hear that correctly?
There's a part of the law that talks about that, and I believe they're talking about crates that they're shipped in, but it's all written into this kind of ambiguous.
Or barrels, maybe?
Yeah, I don't
wood
know.
barrels?
it's something, but they get
Interesting.
confused. Some breweries have a completely different stance on it, and some, like Concord's Ale Industries, you go in there and they'll affix their own information to it, and you'll be good to go. You go to like Stone, and you have to buy their growler, fill it with their beer,
right.
And it's about all you can do with it.
There's a number of different breweries throughout the United States, throughout here in California, that do offer this filling up of the growlers, and we put a list of them at Eat, Drink, Explore. Or actually, no, I guess I just sent a little note out on Facebook regarding it.
Okay.
And in response to that, the Creekside Brewery in San Luis Obispo wrote a little, they said, yeah, but how about, California's messed up law. So I know that there's one brewery in particular that would be happy to not continually sell their growlers, but just take any growler that comes in. What sort of responses did you get, Brian, to your blog?
Mostly it was good because people are, they're kind of tired of it. And then we had one guy who was kind of making the point I was just making, that breweries actually can fill other growlers if they take the necessary steps. But there's just a lot of confusion, I think, in general regarding the current laws.
So they're erring on the side of caution, like, I'm not sure I understand this, so I'm just not going to go there.
Yeah.
I think so. But, California in general has pretty fair growler laws. Some, like Washington, you could take in a milk jug and get filled. They really don't care.
That's kind of funny.
Like Georgia, you can go to a brew pub or brewery, and it's illegal for them to fill a growler, period. So,
so at least we can do it here, I guess.
Yeah, so we don't have it too bad, but some changes would be nice.
Interesting thing, they're called growlers, apparently. This is a little bit of it is folklore, but because it used to be like 100+ years ago, you had a wooden pail that had this top on it, and as the carbon dioxide sort of released from the beer, it would pop the top of the pail and make like a growling noise.
Oh, how funny.
Like a little growl. That's what I heard.
And it's National Growling Day.
Growler Day tomorrow.
Growler Day.
2 years ago, the Beer Mapping Project is the name of an organization, I think based out of the Chicago area, just announced, hey, there should be a national day for this. And so they chose December the 17th, and they did it again last year. This year, there hasn't been any activity on their site since summertime, and so I don't know if they've just gone away. But I did my best to contact them and say, and they never wrote back. So I was like, okay, well, no one's doing it this year, so I'm going to take the torch. And Eat, Drink, Explore is saying that tomorrow, December 17th, sticking in their tradition.
Well, I just did a Google search for National Growler Day, and it comes up 1, Beer Mapping Project, 2. Randall at Eat, Drink, Explore. Yes. So
Good.
You are taking over.
We're moving up.
Yeah. Get
up the list.
Dust off your growler.
Hey, Brian, before we let you go, you cover a lot more than just this at Mutineer Magazine. It's available nationwide, right?
Nationwide at Barnes & Noble or mutineermagazine.com.
Okay, and Mutineer Magazine covers what topics typically?
All beverage, coffee to cocktails, but an emphasis on beer, spirits, and wine.
I like it. Coffee to cocktails. Or two in the same. If you're in San Francisco and getting an Irish coffee, they're at the wharf where they originated here in the U.S. anyway. So,
exactly.
Brian Kopp, Editor-in-Chief of Mutineer Magazine, thank you for joining us this morning here on Eat, Drink, Explore Radio. Go out and get a growler tomorrow, I guess.
On my way.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, sir. We did very little growler filling at the different breweries that I've worked for over the years. I do remember as a bartender, if you're really busy and someone comes in with a growler to fill, it's
and
not...
Then you're like, really?
Not necessarily easy because you have to attach this rubber hose that then goes into it. Otherwise, you get way too much
froth
foam,
and,
right?
You don't want that.
And then it starts coming out out of the top. I think there are probably more ingenious ways of doing it today. I haven't
you haven't done that in a while.
Brewery in more than a decade, but I remember just sometimes if it wasn't busy, I didn't care. It was actually kind of fun. But if we were super busy, I think they hold roughly a gallon. I don't know. But if we were super busy, I saw the people walk in with the growler, and I just thought, I would growl.
Yeah.
I don't want to do this.
Maybe
anyway,
that's how they got their name.
Tomorrow, National Growler Day. Go irritate your bartender and get one filled up. No, really, because it's a good way to do it and a good way to share locally brewed beer with your friends. All right, stick around, everyone, because up next, it's boxed wine versus bottled wine. An interesting study out of UC Davis. You'll want to hear about that straight ahead on Eat, Drink, Explore Radio online, eatdrinkexplore.com. Back in a moment. Some of California's best restaurants, hotels, and homes are perched on steep hillsides with incredible views. But those buildings weren't just thrown there. They were placed on foundations designed and perfected by experts. Throughout much of the Bay Area, those hillside foundations were placed by S.S. Caveney Construction. With nearly 3 decades of experience dealing with the steepest and most difficult terrain, S.S. Caveney Construction is well known for being the go-to company when quality is your number one concern. Hillsides in California, as you know, are prone to drainage issues that can lead to erosion and slippage. S.S. Caveney Construction will solve those problems for you. Get a quote today by contacting the team you need. Head to S.S. Caveney, that's CAVENEY.com, and get your foundation placed correctly the first time.
McGruff here.
The crime dog?
Yep.
I think I'm gonna need your help. I've got an internet bully.
Okay, well, what you do is...
Maybe you could put a virus on her computer. Or a tracking device. Or a bug.
You don't have to do that, all you...
Or maybe we could get an attack dog. You ever see those attack dogs that can, rip a person's arm off? Seriously. Or like a SWAT team. A cyber SWAT team or something. Or like an army. Did you ever see that zombie army movie? We should get a zombie army.
Wait. All you need to do to stop an internet bully is delete their messages and never forward them on.
So, no zombies?
No zombies.
Bummer.
Delete cyberbullying. Don't write it, don't forward it. For more information, visit ncpc.org. A message from the U.S. Department of Justice, Crime Prevention Coalition of America, National Crime Prevention Council, and the Ad Council.
Hello, this is Julia Louis-Dreyfus, and I want to tell you about my new favorite discovery, Yosemite National Park. I recently went there with my husband and children, and we walked the trails to see the breathtaking waterfalls, admired the grand meadows, and giant sequoias. But the future of our national parks is uncertain. Many challenges face our parks today, from polluted air and water to development threats outside their borders and inadequate funding to protect our national heritage. That's why the National Parks Conservation Association recently completed a decade-long assessment of the challenges facing our national parks, along with proposed actions that will ensure our children and grandchildren will be able to enjoy the parks as we have. Our national parks have inspired Americans for nearly 100 years. As we approach the centennial of the National Park Service in 2016, please join us in helping to protect our national park legacy. Find out how at www.mpca.org.
At the American Lung Association, we're fighting for a day when we can all breathe easier. We're fighting for clear skies over every city and healthy lungs throughout the country. We're fighting to free millions of Americans from the addictive grip of tobacco and the devastating effects of lung disease. The American Lung Association isn't just fighting for air, we're fighting for all the things that make it worth breathing, and we can use your help. See what you can do at fightingforair.org.
This is Betty White. I know you don't need one more thing to worry about, but listen, high blood pressure can cause kidney damage, blindness, heart attack, stroke, and you can have high blood pressure even if you feel all right. 1 in 7 adults has it, but it's easy to get your blood pressure checked, and you can treat it if it is too high. So don't worry about it, don't ignore it, just see your doctor and check it out.
For your free booklet, visit the Will Rogers Institute at wrinstitute.org and find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network. Here now is your fabulous host, Mr. Randall White.
Well, if you put it that way. How can I not say good morning, everyone? 9:33 the time. Great to have you with us on this December the 16th, the final day of Hanukkah, and also my nephew Carson Caveney's birthday.
Oh, happy birthday, Carson.
I believe he turns 15.
I was going to be funny and say, what is he, 12 now? No, sorry. Just kidding, Carson.
Yeah, Carson knows Patty as well, lives up in Sonoma County there. So, Carson, a happy birthday if you're watching right now. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for listening, watching, however you're getting us. We certainly appreciate it here on the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network. And this past week, my eyes caught a study out of UC Davis. You know, they have a huge wine department there. Mm-hmm. And, of course, they have the Mondavi Center. I think that when it comes to learning about how to make wine, how to grow grapes, all of those different things, UC Davis is the place in the country where people go to get that information. Of course, just over the hill from us here in San Luis Obispo is Cal Poly. They do
and they have a viticulture program there, doing really good things there. Even the students are making Cal Poly wine.
I know, and it's good. I had some of it. I bought some. Where did I get that? Did I get it at Costco? I can't remember now. I feel like I did.
I'm not sure.
But yeah, you know they're going to start selling wine at the Saturday morning farmers market in San Luis Obispo.
The one at the Grange? Or the one at Madonna?
The one at Madonna.
Oh.
And so I find that interesting that wine sales at farmers markets.
That is interesting. I like that.
My guess is most of the wine sales will be in bottle form and not box.
Right.
But that was the study that I found out of UC Davis that, you know, you've seen things from time to time. How well does the wine oxidize or...
Right. The box wine keeps oxygen away more so than once you open up a bottle of wine.
And so you can keep it for weeks as opposed to with a bottle of wine, you have to take, you know, a number of efforts to keep that wine from spoiling. So boxed wine has had its pluses over the years. You know, there's so much tradition behind packaging of wine,
right?
That
the way it looks and the way it's presented and the cork and the whole thing, it's kind of hard to think that we would replace that with a box and a spigot or spout.
This most recent study is the first I've seen to shed some negative light on the boxed version. Joining us right now to talk about the study, someone who was deeply involved with it, is Helena Hopfer with the Department of Viticulture and Enology at UC Davis. A very good morning to you, Helena.
Hi, Randall. Good morning to you, too.
And thank you for stepping aside from your activities this weekend to join us and talk a little bit about this. Whose idea was it to say, hey, let's find out how heat affects wine?
Well, Randall, there is some research out there where they looked at the effect of storage temperature on the wine properties and how it holds up. And the question we started asking is, we know that heat is generally not good for your wine,
right?
But we wanted to compare different wine packaging types and see how the different wine packaging types hold up at different storage temperatures. And that's how the study was developed and started.
And so what was your method? You would put bottles and boxes in a room and raise the temperature to a certain level, or how did you go about that?
So what we did, we had 5 different packaging types. So we had a box, 2 different boxed wines. We had a screw cap, a natural cork, and a plastic cork in our study. And we then filled the same wine in each of this packaging type and then stored them 1/3 at 10 degrees Celsius, so 50 degrees Fahrenheit, 1/3 at 20 degrees Celsius, 68 Fahrenheit, and 1/3 at the high temperature of 104 Fahrenheit.
Ooh,
for the period of 3 months. And then we just took them out and started looking at how the wine tasted and smelled and looked, both using a trained sensory panel and chemical analysis methods.
Oh, and chemical analysis as well as the
okay.
trained tongue palate.
And so what did the chemical analysis show? Were there different properties then amongst the different wines that have been stored at the cooler or warmer temperature?
Well, basically, the sensory panel and the chemical methods were bringing up both the same results.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, they were just complementing each other.
Okay, and I would imagine, as everyone would guess, the wines stored at the hotter temperatures weren't faring as well over that 3-month period, right? But there were differences between the bottled version and the boxed version. And what did that show?
Okay, so generally, all the wines were stored at the highest temperature, to 104 degrees Fahrenheit. You should not do that to your wine, no matter which packaging it is.
And this was 3 months straight at that temperature, right?
Yeah.
Because I've had some wine in the garage, and we've had some 100+ days here on the Central Coast.
That's not good, Randall.
And we don't have air conditioning at the house. We just don't live in a climate where you need it that often. And
Right.
so I think, is my wine all going bad? I'm not sure how long term. 3 months, clearly it's going to go bad. But but there was a noticeable difference between the different vessel types.
Yeah, so at the highest temperature, we could find significant differences between the boxed wines and the bottled wines.
Interesting. And what specifically was, chemically, what specifically changed more with the boxed wines?
So the boxed wines were just more oxidized than the bottled wines. So they were just aging faster than their counterparts in the bottles at these high temperatures. And this is just another proof that boxed wines are not intended for long-time aging, and don't cook your wine at 140.
That's so good to know. So what you're saying then, the boxed wine would be something that you would want to make sure you were storing it in a cool place and also not keeping it for a super long time. It's something that you're going to want to consume.
So your finer wines, which, and this is typically associated with boxed wines, you would not be putting your finer wines in them because those would have a tendency to be aged.
What we could also find in our study is that when you store everything at a cooler temperature, it doesn't really matter in which packaging your wine is stored at.
Okay.
And so I thought that was something interesting of the study too.
Mm-hmm. So you could put a good, if you're storing it at the right temperature, you could put a good wine in a box and come out with the same results.
Yeah, and I know that it's not that common here to put a better, higher quality wine in a box, in a bag-in-box.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look to Australia or even France or Italy, there are quite decent wines that are sold in boxes. And so I think the American market is now starting to pick that up too. If you go to the supermarket, there are different qualities of wines already in a bag-in-box, and there are definitely some really decent alternatives out there too. So it's worth trying.
And it's kind of what people get used to. Yeah. And, in Europe, they do some things differently than us, like boxed milk that you put in a cabinet. And people there were saying, oh, my gosh, you drink milk out of your cabinet? But it's sort of what you've become accustomed to also, right?
Yeah, that's right.
I'm wondering what differences you found with the type of corks. You said that you used both a traditional cork, and then you also used plastic corks. Was there any difference found there?
We could find some differences at the higher temperatures, but not as severe as in the boxed wines. There is a slight tendency that more oxygen gets into the bottle with the plastic cork than compared to a natural cork. But what we could also see is that the variability of the natural cork is quite high. So because it's a natural product, the different corks could be have different densities, and that affects how much oxygen can get into the bottle too. Right. So it might be, if you have a very dense cork, less oxygen is getting into your bottle. If you're less lucky, you have a quite foamy, airy cork, and then more oxygen can enter your bottle. So the variation within the natural cork was higher and bigger than the one with the synthetic cork.
I'm a big fan of the natural cork.
So I guess the takeaway, though, is to be safe, keep it stored at a cool temperature, and then all of these factors are going to have less effect, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any studies in the future for, say, shorter time periods of heat exposure? Of course, I'm just thinking
Randall is thinking about the wine in his
garage
right now.
Yes. Or what other, you constantly have wine studies going there at UC Davis. What are some fun things you're working on currently?
We're about to start a study on wine quality and how consumers and experts look at wine quality, which I think is also very interesting and important to know. In terms of packaging, there was a study done in my lab a couple of years ago where they looked at short-term exposure of different temperatures, and they could shows that for delicate white wines, even after 3 weeks, you can already experience some differences if you store them at the higher temperature of 104 compared to the lower ones.
Well, we're lucky that we don't have heat spells that last 3 weeks here on the Central
Yes.
Coast. So maybe a couple of days, and I don't have a lot of delicate white wines in it. They're mainly hardy reds.
Mhm.
So
Good for you. Good thing you don't live in Arizona.
Yeah, a big wipe across the forehead. Right. But
gosh.
for those of our listeners who are listening in the Central Valley right now, or even Davis, where you live, weeks of 100-plus degree temperature are quite common. So good information.
Protect your wine.
Protect your wine. Helena Hopfer with the Department of Viticulture and Enology there at UC Davis with their recent study on boxed wine versus bottled wine at high temperatures for 3 months at a time, showing that boxed wine did not fare nearly as well as those wines in bottles. Helena, thank you so much for joining us this morning on Eat, Drink, Explore Radio. We really appreciate it.
Oh, thanks for having me. Thank you very much.
All right. Well, Patty, coming up after the break here, we will be sharing some recipes that we have online, some of our favorite recipes.
And later you'll add the Mayan recipe.
Yes, later I'll add the Mayan recipe.
Very fun.
But we are talking about what we'll be serving at our New Year's party. And I know
Can't
you have
wait.
one that involves citrus.
Yes.
And is pretty amazing.
Yes.
And I have one that I'd like to share as well. That's coming up just after the break, everyone. 9:44. You're listening to the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network. Some of California's best restaurants, hotels, and homes are perched on steep hillsides with incredible views. But those buildings weren't just thrown there. They were placed on foundations designed and perfected by experts. Throughout much of the Bay Area, those hillside foundations were placed by S.S. Caveney Construction. With nearly 3 decades of experience dealing with the steepest and most difficult terrain, S.S. Caveney Construction is well known for being the go-to company when quality is your number one concern. Hillsides in California, as you know, are prone to drainage issues that can lead to erosion and slippage. S.S. Caveney Construction will solve those problems for you. Get a quote today by contacting the team you need. Head to S.S. Caveney, that's CAVENEY.com, and get your foundation placed correctly the first time. It will be a while before we see the labeling of genetically modified foods, but that doesn't mean you can't be a smart shopper and head to the store armed with knowledge. Our California Love website has a list of local companies producing food right here in California that are GMO-free and, in most cases, organic too. Head to CA, as in California, LUV, as in shorthand for love.com. It's that easy to find our list of local companies with your health in mind. You can also find this list on our Apple and Android smartphone and tablet apps, which are absolutely free in the App Store. Simply search Eat, Drink, Explore and download it to your device. Our California Love website also contains a vegetable and fruit chart so you can more easily buy local produce that's in season. Also, fresh and local recipes from the farmers market. Head there, check it out right now. CALUV.com.
Hi, this is Rick Moranis. You know, some people are more careful about what they feed their cars than what they feed their bodies. They know that the wrong fuel can hurt a car's performance and maybe ruin the engine. But the wrong food can have the same effect on your health. Too much fat, too many calories, and too little of what's good for you can affect how well you feel and even lead to serious illness. So eat right. It'll help you keep running smooth.
For more information, visit the Will Rogers Institute at wrinstitute.org or call toll-free 877-957-7575 and find us on Facebook and Twitter. Wayne Brady for the Will Rogers Institute.
Hey folks, I've got something that will truly revolutionize your life. It's called exercise. It will get you from here to there, allow you to spend time with your family and meet new people, cut inches from your waistline, and improve the quality of your life. Even help improve your self-image. Sexy. So when you've got to choose between moving around or lying on the couch, choose exercise. You won't be sorry.
For your free booklet, visit wrinstitute.org or call toll-free 877-957-7575 and find us on Facebook and Twitter.
For the latest video and information from today's show, head on over to eatdrinkexplore.com. We're constantly updating it with the latest food, beverage, and travel trends. Also, we're launching a new section of the site called California Love. This is where we recommend great companies, and the best part is every single business we feature is locally owned. We've checked them out and are confident you'll love them as much as we do. This is a great tool to have as we head into the holiday shopping season. Since you're already spending money, you might as well support your neighbor. We choose businesses that give back to the community, care about the environment, or use only the freshest local and organic ingredients. They also make their products here, not overseas. Our California Love business recommendation tool is still in the development stages, but will be available very soon at eatdrinkexplore.com. Eat Drink Explore Media, your lifestyle information source. 9:49, now the time here on this Sunday morning. It's the final segment of the Eat, Drink, Explore radio show. A hello to everyone who's listening. KSCO AM 1080 or Crush 92.5 FM. Also, people that are online via our Facebook page, facebook.com/eatdrinkexplore. You can watch our video simulcast via Ustream there or at eatdrinkexplore.com. Just click on the radio video tab and you're all good. So wherever you are catching us, a very, very good day to you. Okay, so we have a couple of big holidays coming up, of course. Christmas and New Year, New Year's Eve. And so champagne is served quite a bit. And you can just go ahead and serve California sparkling wine as is.
That's right.
No problem there. But sometimes it's fun when you have a very special occasion to make a champagne cocktail. I had one at Patty's house this past summer. But the whole thing is that citrus season is now.
Yes.
And Patty has a Meyer lemon tree growing in her backyard that grows, that bears
very prolific
year round. So
Yes.
we were able to have it in the summertime, but you can find Meyer lemons at your local farmer's market this time of year. And go ahead,
and
Patty.
You really could use any citrus for this, and it's basically a sorbet that is basically like lemonade. You know, a little bit of a strong lemonade. And I added a bit of a lemon liqueur to it, and stress on the bit because the more liquor, more alcohol you add, the less it will freeze. Because
Less
alcohol,
icy.
yes.
What did you use, like a limoncello?
Yes, I did. Limoncello, exactly. So you put that into a metal bowl in your freezer with a whisk, and you just keep going back to it every 5, 10, or 15 minutes or so, and you whisk it around. And
I was at Patty's house. I went, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
She kept going over to the freezer. She goes, it's something I've made for dessert. Leave me alone.
Yeah. Exactly. Or you put it in a traditional, ice cream maker and you let it do the work for you. So you make this sorbet. You get sparkling white wine or champagne or whatever you want to use. We used cava, Spanish, I think, version of champagne. And then so you rim a glass with some lemony sugar concoction, which I came up with when I was making candied lemon rind. So you candy lemon rind. There's recipes all over the place for that, and we'll provide one. And sugar the rim of a martini glass. Add a scoop of sorbet. Carefully add the champagne to that, and voila, heaven in a martini glass.
So good. And you could, like you said, you used Meyer lemon. You could use pomelos.
Cuties are everywhere right now. They make a really good one.
So sort of a mandarin version of
blood
this.
orange.
Blood orange would be
Yum.
That would look great too.
And then the candied rind really adds a beautiful little garnish and a little bit of tart sweetness to it.
It does. Patty's looking for the picture that she...
I found it. I got it.
Was it the picture that I took with my iPhone?
I think so.
It's a fantastic picture, and we will share this recipe along with said picture. Oh, okay. So if you're watching via the video simulcast right now, you might be able to see it. I don't know if there's too much glare. Yeah.
But we'll post it with the recipe.
We'll post it with the recipe. We have a lot of Mayan dishes and cocktail recipes to post today. That's going to take a while. So if you head over to eatdrinkexplore.com right now and go to the recipe section, you're not going to see them there. Wait.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Give us some time. We'll get them up.
We will get them up. So I'll send out a tweet and a Facebook message and stuff like that to say, hey, they're here. The recipes we talked about are online now. So in this month's edition of Men's Journal, the December 2012, January 2013 issue, they have a whole, in their notebook section, they have a whole thing on sparkling holiday cocktails. These come from a book called To Have and Have Another. It's a book that compiles Ernest Hemingway's favorite drinks. The author's name, if I can read it here, is Philip Green. And this cocktail is called the Good News. All right. Wow. So good news. We have a cocktail recipe for you for your New Year's Eve party. So this is what you do. You take 1.5 ounces of Calvados, which is a French apple brandy. That just sounds good right there.
Right.
Stop.
Just give me that.
Right. Then you take 1/2 ounce of lemon juice, again with the lemon, and then 1/4 ounce of ginger liqueur. So we've got apple, lemon, and ginger flavors marrying so far. And then 2 dashes of Angostura bitters, and you add that to champagne. You shake all the ingredients with ice. You strain into a Collins glass with rocks. What's a Collins glass exactly?
Is that the tall,
Is that like a
skinny?
chimney glass? Almost like a chimney. Yeah. Sort of like a chimney, but wider. Yeah, okay.
For the Tom Collins?
For the Tom Collins, exactly. So you strain it into a Collins glass with rocks, topped with champagne, garnished with a slice of fresh ginger. And that is called the Good News. I like that.
That sounds good to me.
It does sound like good news.
That's awesome.
So the Tom Collins, you mentioned Tom Collins for the name of the glass. Do you know where that came from?
I remember you telling me, and that's all I remember.
I'm looking it up quickly because I want to make double sure that I have
you get
this
the story right.
Right. If I remember correctly, it was a joke that people would play on each other and say, there's a guy at the bar next door who is saying bad things about you, and his name is Tom Collins. And so someone would go over and say,
where's Tom Collins?
Where's Tom Collins? I hear he's talking smack about me. And then the bartender would say, here's Tom Collins. He'd put down this drink. There was more than one drink that has a name, and I hope I don't have the wrong one. That story does apply to some cocktail.
I kind of remember this. Yes.
I'm just not positive that I have the right name with the right drink, but in either case, a Tom Collins modern mix includes gin, lemon juice, sugar, soda water, then a slice of lemon, and one of those very unnatural cherries.
And so I just found a little blurb about the Tom Collins, and you're right. It was someone would say, hey, I just heard someone at a bar down the street. Tom Collins was saying bad things about you. You should get over there right now. And so they would go in and say, when you get there, Collins would already have gone off somewhere else. So it was like a chase around the city to find the Tom Collins, but it was a prank that people would pull.
It was a prank.
Yes.
Now, when I was a kid, it was popular in our house anyway to have a bottle of Collins Mix, typically like by Canada Dry or something. And I've never been a big soda drinker like Coke or anything like that, but I would take Collins Mix and put it on ice and just drink the Collins Mix. It's really like a really sweet lemon lime sort of bubbly concoction. But I assume that Collins Mix was used to make Tom Collins. That's not one of the more popular drinks today. You know, drinks come and go with popularity. What was the big, huge drink maybe 10, 15 years ago was the Cosmopolitan.
Oh,
yes.
Yes.
You have the Cosmo days.
That was in vogue. Yes.
Back in the late 80s, you had a lot of, what are those? Now I can't think of. It was just lime juice, vodka, and what was the name of that?
Randall?
Kamikaze. Yes.
There is a San Luis Obispo tie to this old Tom Collins story. We might have to go into this a little further next week.
I think we will. We'll pick up the Collins conversation.
Yes. Where is that Tom Collins?
Next week. Hey, thank you everyone for tuning in to the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network. As we mentioned, all the recipes that we talked about today will be available online, just not immediately. Get out there and make it a fantastic rest of the holiday season.
You've been listening to the Eat, Drink, Explore radio program. If you missed any of our segments today, look for them online or through our free Apple and Android apps. Catch you back right here next week.